Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Mulholland. I'm president and founder of Spa Medica. Spa Medica has been around serving the Greater Toronto community out of Yorkville for 25 years. Coolsculpting is one of our many devices we use for non-surgical liposuction, for non-surgical, non-invasive body contouring, non-invasive permanent destruction of fat. Coolsculpting was the seminal technology, the first technology that launched that truly did this about 10 years ago, about the same time as UltraShape, another technology that we use here at Spa Medica. Coolsculpting works by cooling the fat cell down to a point where the fat cell doesn't survive. It's typically a painless procedure and it can give you significant body contouring improvements without the need to undergo liposuction. The benefits of Coolsculpting are non-invasive, doesn't require surgical intervention, can be done fairly quickly over a lunchtime, is relatively comfortable, very few side effects, and it's quite consistent at shrinking and killing permanently a certain proportion of your fat cells so that you see a contour improvement, a permanent contour improvement without the need to undergo anything surgical or invasive. Coolsculpting is one of the most commonly used and most popular of the fat destruction technologies. It's now about 8 or 9 years old, and there's been an evolution in other technologies that can be used together with Coolsculpting or on their own to kill fat. One of them is sculpture. Sculpture is a laser, and it sends laser energy through the skin into the fat and kills the fat through heat. So Coolsculpting cools the fat, sculpture heats the fat. Another new technology that works very well is UltraShape, and that uses ultrasound waves to kill fat cells. We also have something called the Vanquish, which uses microwaves to go through the skin and kill fat cells. And the evolution or zenith of the development of these devices is the Evolve. The Evolve uses radio frequency energy and electroporation non-invasively, painlessly, just like all the other technologies, to kill fat permanently. The best time to get Coolsculpting or any one of our other permanent non-invasive fat destruction technologies is when you have tried your best diet and exercise, you can't get rid of a stubborn area, and you don't want to do liposuction. That's the best time to explore technologies like Coolsculpting. The most common areas we treat with Coolsculpting and our non-invasive lipo program is the tummy, the love handles, the outer and inner thighs, the bra line at the back of between the shoulder blades, and the arms and doubles chin. Those 7 or 8 areas are the most commonly treated body areas. Following your Coolsculpting treatment or any one of the other technologies, you can get right off the treatment bed. There'll be a little area of swelling and cold skin that will resolve over the next hour. With any of the other technologies, there's essentially no downtime. You put on your clothes and you go right back to work and right back to exercise. You start to see your results after Coolsculpting or after the Sculpture or after Vanquish or after the Evolve or after the UltraShape. You start to see your results not right away, but over a number of weeks. Typically, it's going to be a series of treatments, 2 to 3 treatments, over about 6 to 12 weeks until you start to see your results. And results are typically going to be 2 to 3 centimeters of pinchable fat reduction, which is noticeable, not quite as significant as liposuction, but again, there's no surgery and no downtime. Many Toronto patients choose Spa Medica as their non-surgical lipocenter. Why? We have multiple technologies: Coolsculpting, Sculpture, Vanquish, the Evolve, UltraShape, Venus Freeze, Exless, many different ways to kill your fat cells. So if one is not working optimally, we can switch to another technology and we combine our non-surgical fat destruction technologies in a single program. So choosing Spa Medica is going to ensure you're going to get the best possible permanent fat reduction. Over the years, I've done many educational television shows around our non-invasive fat destruction technology like Coolsculpting. Let's take a look.
Jen, I'm asking for a friend. At what age should a woman consider a little nip tuck, pull on HDTV. Seriously, people always say, have you and Jen had work done? I always say no, but you never know, right? Because then you worry when I start, then how do you stop?
Until now. No. And no, this is not a picture of me behind here, Dina. This is not me. But if it was,
right?
I would get a non-surgical treatment, because this is the great thing these days. You can get non-surgical treatment. So you can get a non-surgical facelift. I don't know if you saw that in the last segment, but it was incredible. And now you can get like a non-surgical sort of tummy tuck. I like this too. While you're getting it done, you're doing your emails. So Laurel is here. Thank you, Laurel. She's doing her emails right now. You're not going to take selfies of this, though, are you?
No, not at all.
No.
Not today.
On Instagram. Okay, Dr. Stephen Mulholland here at Spa Medica. Love this machine. It's called Coolsculpting, and what does it do?
This is one of our more popular techniques the last couple of years. Coolsculpting is a non-surgical option to liposuction. We use these suction-coupled applicators. This one would be for the pot belly. We have them for the hips, for the bra line, for the outer thighs, inner thighs, and it suction couples. It pulls your fat, unwanted fat and skin into the chamber. It slowly cools down your fat to 5 degrees, and it lasts for 1 hour. Very simple to do. During that 1 hour, you can answer emails, read a book, whatever you want. There's really plug and play, and then you walk away and there's no downtime. So I'll show this. We've got a little pad applied. So Claudia's going to apply this Cool Max. This is called the Cool Max. This is one of the more popular applicators because almost anyone who wants to treat their hips has an unwanted pot. We apply it to the tummy. Press the settings button and it suction couples, so you can hear that suction. It sucks that unwanted fat, that unwanted pot or hip or bra line or saddlebag into the applicator. Then it starts cooling, and now it's cooling down to about 5 degrees. We simply place a little pillow around the Coolsculpting applicator, and that's it. You sit there for 1 hour with your fat at 5 degrees. Now, at 5 degrees physiologically, your cell does not like that. And the fat cell goes, oh, I don't like this. It turns off the light and it never turns it on again. So living in Toronto, it's usually freezing in the summer. This is one time where freezing is good.
It's a good thing. We want to be cold. Okay, Laura, what does it feel like?
It's a strong suction, but relatively comfortable. I can just sit here, do my emails, play my games on my phone. Totally comfortable.
And we've got pictures right here.
Yeah, so this is after one treatment cycle. So you can do this once, and it's 1 hour to treat the tummy and 1 hour for the hips. You can have 2 to 3 applicators on at once. And 6 weeks later, this would be a good result. Some patients need a second cycle to get 2 or 3 inches of fat melted.
Some people need 1, some people need 2. Would you go for 3?
Rarely do you need 3. Usually it's 2 cycles, 6 weeks apart. Again, hips, bra line, outer thigh, arms, inner thighs. It's about half the price of liposuction. Oh. There's literally no downtime.
So what price are we looking at? A price range?
Most Coolsculpting clinics in Canada are going to charge you somewhere between $750 and $1,000 a treatment, and that may be all you need is 1 treatment per area. And you can just simply sign up for the areas you want treated. Okay. And again, it's 1 hour of answering your emails per area, and sometimes you do 2 or 3 areas at once.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Mulholland. Of course, we'll have all the information on breakfasttelevision.ca. There's a lineup for this. I'm next on that machine. Love it.
Coolsculpting is really our prototypical non-surgical fat destruction technique and procedure. We've been Coolsculpting longer than anyone in this country, almost 10 years. What is Coolsculpting? It's basically suction and non-suction cooling that cools the fat cell non-invasively down to a temperature where a certain proportion, a significant number of fat cells, just wither away and die. They don't like to be cooled for 45 minutes. So it's a non-invasive treatment where we suction and non-suction cool the fat with these special applicators. We custom design those applicators different areas of your body, and we can do non-surgical sculpting of your body using a cooling device, hence Coolsculpting, to create permanent fat destruction in areas of problematic collection. What are the most common Coolsculpting zones? By far the most common for women, the tummy or the pot. The lower tummy, followed by the upper tummy. the love handles, number 2, the outer and inner thigh, number 3. For men, it's the love handles by far. Then, more common areas are the double chin, the Coolsculpt Mini, the upper arm. Those are also areas where Coolsculpting can give you permanent fat destruction and contour improvements, and by far those are the most requested areas we get here at Spa Medica over the years. Our patient today, Blake, is a prototypical Coolsculpting patient. She's young, she's educated, college trained, she's internet savvy. She just doesn't want to do liposuction. Most Coolsculpting patients, their best option is going to be liposuction, but that is surgery, that's invasive, there's risk, there's recovery. So after doing her internet research, she found Spa Medica because we've been doing non-surgical body sculpting for years. We have multiple technologies, so it's truly an umbrella program where she might come in, see me, be a good candidate for Coolsculpting, which is a localized area of unwanted fat despite diet and exercise with reasonable skin tone. We'll try Coolsculpting her first session, and then we wait 6 weeks. After that 6 weeks, some patients are happy and they're done. Others might then be happy but want a second session to try and get additional fat destruction. Often between the 2 Coolsculpting sessions, 6 weeks apart, we can try other technologies that also kill fat a different way. We can use heat and direct contact, no hands laser called Sculpture, which uses heat or hyperthermia at 45 degrees to kill fat, rather than Coolsculpting at 5 degrees. So one is cooling, one is heating. We can use a gentle microwave or electromagnetic field called Vanquish, which also uses no-touch heating to heat fat a different way than the laser. We can use electroporation with body effects to kill fat. We can also use ultrasound waves, UltraShape. And finally, and most recently, we can combine our Coolsculpting while we're waiting for the results in those intervening weeks. We can use M-Sculpt, which builds muscle and kills fat from the inside out. So we get 30% increase in the muscle mass, and we kill fat from the inside out non-surgically. All these things can be used in a coordinated assault on unwanted fat. Usually we start with Coolsculpting, and then we can filter down and add different techniques and components to give you the best possible guaranteed amount of permanent fat reduction. Blake, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Dr. Mulholland, and I was looking through your chart. You seem to be a pretty healthy young gal.
Thank you.
You're a worker-outer kind of gal too?
I am, yeah.
And so it says from your chart that the number one area that bugs you is the little pot on your tummy. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing despite diet and exercise, this has been stubborn.
Very stubborn.
And you're probably seeing me here today because you're not interested in liposuction or some more invasive technique.
Preferably not.
Okay, so let's take a peek at your pot and see if you're a candidate for some of our non-surgical lipo technique. That little bulge of unwanted fat is what bugs you.
Exactly.
How long have you seen that there?
I've kind of always had it. I think it might be inherited.
A hereditary pot from mom or grandma. And so
both.
despite all the crunches in the world and all the planks and all the exercise and dieting, you just can't get at this.
Exactly.
Okay, so if I feel that, you have about 5 or 6 centimeters of extra fat. The skin tone is pretty good, and that's an ideal area for some of our non-surgical lipo technologies or body sculpting. The lead technology is Coolsculpting. We have some other energy-based devices that we can also deploy, but we usually lead with Coolsculpting because it's been around the longest. We've had it longer than anyone in Canada now, about 8 or 9 years, and it's a pretty predictable way to kill fat. Now, have you had a chance to read about it?
I have, and
Okay.
it does seem interesting.
It is cool. It's cool because it's cool. What it does is it suction couples your fat.
Okay.
And it puts it inside a chamber non-invasively, and it cools your fat down to 5 degrees. And it turns out about 30% of fat cells don't like to be that cold, and they just die a non-inflammatory, non-traumatic death. Sometimes there's a little bit of bruising or swelling, but you can go right back to your normal activity immediately. And 6 weeks later, you're going to see a predictable reduction in fat. Now, reduction doesn't mean it's all gone, and you may need to do a second treatment.
Okay.
And probably if you're on our Spa Medica website, you saw that we have many other things that also kill fat.
Yeah.
So sometimes we mix cooling with heating with microwave with...
You can do more than one.
Yeah, so we have multiple technologies, but we'll start with Coolsculpting because it's been around the longest, it's the most predictable, and maybe one treatment you get a result you're super happy with.
Okay.
Now, once we've done that one treatment, we'll maybe do some other technologies that kill fat non-surgically other ways. Our goal is, when we finished all that, to get a good 50% reduction what you have there, which would be pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is mark that out and make sure you and I are on the same page. Now, when I mark out your little pot here, I'm going to feather out to the zones. We want to have some feathering, and we want to treat that little pot with our suction coupled Coolsculpting applicator. And so we take, if you and I both confirm that's kind of what you don't like, we would measure the applicator, because you have a little bit more fat on this side than that side, so it's slightly asymmetric. And then there's this area right here, which you didn't mention, but there's kind of the bra line fat, which is common right here. And so we'll be able to take a smaller applicator called a Cool Core and probably do a Cool Core there and a Cool Max here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll get one of our certified medical estheticians who will take you downstairs, do your first Coolsculpting treatment, and then I'll see you back.
Okay.
And we'll talk about what you saw after your first initial non-invasive body contouring treatment.
Okay,
Okay?
Thank you
Happy
so much.
melting. Blake, good to see you again. 6 weeks just like that.
Nice seeing you again.
Okay, well, let's see how your journey went. So you went downstairs to the medical spa. They got you hooked up to the Coolsculpting.
Yep.
What was it like? How was the active treatment itself?
It was very interesting.
It's a bit shocking when that first cooling grabs onto your skin. Yeah.
That first vacuum,
And then it kind of, ooh, and then, but it kind of goes numb, and then you just kind of
and then you just chill
sit
there
there,
for a
do
little
your emails, and so you were done in about 45 minutes or so.
Yep.
Did you go right back to your activities?
I did, yeah.
Okay, good. And I see you come right from the yoga studio.
I
Did it get in the way of work, yoga, or work with your other
No,
activities?
I didn't interfere at all, which was
So
great.
you went right back into your life.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so you just monitor what you ate, nothing special, just a normal, healthy approach to diet.
Yes.
And you could do your exercise and your stretching and your yoga poses, no problems. Perfect. Now here you are 6 weeks later. The big question, have you seen any results?
I actually did. I saw like a little bit,
Good.
but I think I want a little more.
I'm getting a bit greedy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always set the program up. Coolsculpting is always going to be one treatment followed by a follow-up in 6 weeks,
Right.
and 85% of women have a second treatment,
Okay.
and men too. Why a second treatment? Because if we killed a little the first time, we can kill a little more the second time. And so what I think I'll do then, if you're up for it, is we'll set you up for another Coolsculpting session, and maybe even while you're waiting for that 6 weeks,
Yeah.
at Spa Medic, we have a non-surgical body sculpting program. And while you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for the cooling to work, we can use heating called sculpture.
Okay.
While you're waiting for sculpture to work, we can use a microwave called Vanquish. While you're waiting for the microwave to work, we can work on the muscle inside out called the M-Sculpt. And we can also use electroporation called Body FX. So while you're waiting 5 weeks for the Coolsculpting work, we can do 5 different things and often double and triple the Coolsculpting program will
Ooh,
come.
okay.
Okay, so if you're into it, all of them are very comfortable, all of them are easy to do, all of them have 0 to no risk,
Okay.
and it gives you something to do in 5 weeks that will double down on non-surgical fat destruction.
Okay.
Our goal is to kill your pot, okay?
Great.
So come with me, let's go to the front desk, we'll get you organized,
Okay.
and then I'll see you back in about 6 more weeks,
Okay.
okay?
Sounds
Come on with me and we'll do our thing. So if we look at Blake's before and afters here after her first and single Coolsculpting session, you see a noticeable improvement in her pot, no question, probably a 30% reduction. However, like most patients, if they get a little improvement, they want a lot more, and I'm fine with that. In fact, I always tell our Coolsculpting patients it's 2 treatments, 6 weeks apart. first treatment, wait 6 weeks, assess the reduction in the fat envelope, that those fat cells that were susceptible to sustained cooling and hypothermia. And then at 6 weeks, we decide a second session. And while we're waiting 6 more weeks, we'll often have an umbrella program. And under that Coolsculpting session number 2, we'll add Vanquish, we'll add Sculpture, we'll add M-Sculpt, we'll add Body Effects to the overall outcome. And that's a treatment a week for 5 weeks. And we'll see that integrated program now. I'm really looking forward to seeing her come back after 2 Coolsculpting and the additional other treatments to give her the best possible non-circle fat reduction that you can get in the modern era. Right, good to see you again.
See you again too.
Here we are at the end of your non-surgical Spa Medica lipo program.
Yep.
So you really did, a state-of-the-art integrated program designed to get lipo-like results on your tummy, but non-surgically. So just to remind myself and the viewers, you did Coolsculpting, which is cooling the fat. You did Sculpture, which is heating the fat. So we did heating, cooling. Then we put you under microwave, the Vanquish. Then we used suction coupled electroporation, the Body Effects.
Yes.
And then that was all outside in. Then we worked from the inside out using M-Sculpt with the 20,000 super maximal contractions to build up your muscle.
One of my favorites.
So here you are, a pretty young, active gal, and you did that integrated program. What do you think of the results?
I'm really happy with the results, actually.
So-
I definitely saw a reduction in fat, and I'm much more toned than I was before.
So these are areas, despite being a pretty active gal, we're stubborn. That
Yeah,
you just,
and I'm really active.
and so being very active, diet and exercise, you still had that little pot, that hereditary curse from mom or dad that you couldn't get rid of without like crazy starvation.
Exactly.
And so we hit it with this energy and we shrunk your pot. How much smaller do you think the pot is than it was before?
Maybe like 40, 50, 50%.
About
depending on the
50%
day.
reduction. Perfect. And then you did mention to me that you really loved that M-Sculpt, that muscle from the inside out.
Yeah, so not only did I notice like visually that I'm more toned, but I can feel it. I can feel my core stronger.
So you feel after the 4 to 6 treatments, you really felt the core was better than doing a bunch of crunches.
Yeah, like I'm noticeably stronger in my workouts now.
Perfect. Well, go ahead and stand up. Let's take a peek. We've always had the good waistline. We try to give you a more defined abdomen. No question, what I can pinch now is about, as you said, about 50%. You had about 4 centimeters, you have about 2, so you have less fat, but I can see more of an ab. You can see that outer rectus abdominis, the linea alba in between, so you can see more core definition.
Yeah.
Have a seat and relax. So what I'll do is I'll talk to the girls, we'll get you set up for a little M-Sculpt maintenance, and congratulations, it looks
again.
great. Okay. Coolsculpting itself is a technology that delivers sustained cooling or sustained hypothermia to the fat cell. It turns out that the fat cells don't like to be 5 degrees Celsius or cooler for about 45 minutes. And when you do cool them down to that temperature, a large proportion, between 22 and 30% of those fat cells will die. Now the kicker about the Coolsculpting program, it is a treatment out of the gate and then a treatment 6 weeks later. So you have to wait 6 weeks to your second treatment. And then you wait another 6 weeks, so 12 total weeks to get your contour improvement. How does it kill the fat? The sustained hypothermia induces a non-inflammatory, means no downtime, no swelling, right back to normal activities. Non-necrotic, so it's not aggressive cell death like you might get with liposuction. Cell death. It happens by turning the nucleus of the cell off and the cells just wither away. Your body can mop up all that cellular activity and triglyceride and fatty material without any risks of increased atherosclerotic disease or cardiac disease. So it's a safe, gentle way to target the reduction of localized fat. 2 treatments, 6 weeks apart, the final result 6 weeks after the last treatment. So if you're interested in a serious clinic with multiple technologies, we have over 8 devices proven to kill fat. Coolsculpting, Sculpture, Vanquish, Body FX, UltraShape, M-Sculpt, Venus, Exless. We have all those and UltraShape, all those technologies and more. We use 4 or 5 different energy forms to make sure you're going to get the best possible permanent fat reduction, and that's our guarantee. In fact, if you don't respond by at least 1 centimeter pinch test, our guarantee is we're going to give you a complimentary treatment. That's how much I believe in our program. We have thousands of patients we have treated. We're the busiest non-surgical body sculpting program in the country. So if you're interested, you want to get a consultation, simply fill out one of the online forms, send them in, schedule a consultation, or call the contact number, and Spa Medica customer service representative will schedule a consult now, or use the live chat function. So reach out through a form or a phone call, schedule a consultation to start your non-surgical body sculpting, non-surgical lipo program at Spa Medica now.
Here's what's coming up on Stephen and Chris. Get a taste of the paleo diet from a best-selling cookbook author. And learn about a machine that freezes away fat.
Women under the arm, men love handles, anyone abdomen, women bra roll are the 4 most common areas.
Love handles? Yes. Can you move over, sweetie? I'm going to get mine done.
Welcome back, everybody. Here to tell us about a new technology that helps you lose stubborn fat is plastic surgeon Dr. Zell Krajdan.
Welcome to the show. It's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Well, you brought in a very cool machine, and that does something called Coolsculpting. What is that?
It's a great machine, great piece of technology. It's new in the past year. If you look at fat cells, they can respond to different types of energy. They can respond to heat, radio frequency. They can also respond to cool energy. The idea is when fat cells get to 5 degrees Celsius, they essentially explode. And as they explode, they're excreted in your liver, and you lose that area of fat. You can lose up to 1 inch of fat in that specific target zone.
Okay.
Wow. So who's the likely candidate for this kind of
You're
thing?
looking at someone who's near their ideal body weight, within 10 pounds of their ideal weight. So not someone who's overweight and who has a realistic idea in their mind. They want to lose between 1 centimeter and 1 inch and contour, love handles, stomach, back rolls,
so is
it
almost like that stubborn fat that you know when you work out, and you just can't get that little bit left gone.
Most people, as they reach their 30s, 40s, 50s, even if they're a great weight and have a good shape, there's a few areas if you wear too tight underwear, skirt, clothes, it pops out. It really targets those zones really nicely.
You're really fine-tuning. Let's look at some photos here.
Some before and after. Now, talk us through what's happening over here.
So here's a lady, you know, roughly 8 to 10 pounds overweight, few areas of lumpiness, cellulite, little extra fat. And more or less, you treat each area as a zone. Anterior abdomen is one zone, flanks are one zone, and they sit there, sucks the fat out, cools the area down to contour it. Here's another photo. Again, someone who's very slim, in tight clothing, looks like a slim individual. In a bikini, a little bit extra tissue above and below the belly button. You contour and really cool them right down.
This is different than liposuction?
It is different, and it's a non-surgical technique. No sedation, no anesthesia, no cuts.
Wow. Okay. And now this one here, so it is very different than liposuction.
Exactly. I mean, liposuction is your more surgical, slightly more invasive, 4mm scars, usually very light twilight anesthesia, but you can reduce between 1 and 3 inches of fat. So for that little extra cost and recovery, you are getting a more pronounced result.
And how long do these sessions, how long do they take?
Coolsculpting generally is about an hour. So I have lots of patients who come in over lunch. The treatment itself takes between 45 and 50 minutes. By the time they get dressed and undressed, they're in and out in 1 hour.
And how about the pain level?
Pain level, the way I describe it, almost imagine someone sucking at your skin, a bit of a cool device, again, about 5 centimeters. Most people describe it like a cold pack that's been in your skin a few minutes too long.
Right, okay. Well, let's go over here.
We have a live demo of Coolsculpting. I think it's really cool.
I want you to do it here in the studio.
And this is Jennifer. How you doing, sweetheart?
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Thanks for coming to see us. Hi, darling. How are you? Good to see you. Okay.
So the great thing about this is, I mean, if you look at in the United States, you're looking at about 1 million liposuction procedures a year, surgical procedures. If that's your base population, about 50% of adults over the age of 25 have areas of fat that they don't like. Right. Therefore, the target market for Coolsculpting is much higher than that 1 million.
Yeah. Right.
So it's someone who comes in on their day off, comes in during their lunch, wants an hour, they're on their iPad, they're on their smartphone, and they sit there, have the treatment done, walk right out, no bruising, no pain. Some people will have numbness for about 1 to 2 weeks in the area, but it's really not painful.
And I want to talk about, so if we can even see it kind of happening and how it, so then where does the fat go?
Very good question. So everyone has a certain number of fat cells in their body, whether it's 10,000 or a million, depending on your body type and height. Okay. Once those fat cells are gone, you do not grow new ones. And if you stay the same weight, you're not going to gain weight in those areas. Okay. Those fat cells more or less explode. They undergo what's called apoptosis, or programmed cell death. Okay. And it's excreted in your liver like any byproduct.
Oh, wow. So is this good for areas like, say, under the arm area for women?
Is an area, for sure. Women under the arm, men love handles, anyone abdomen, women bra roll are the 4 most common areas.
Love handles? Can you move over, sweetie? I'm going to get mine done. I'm getting up here.
Hop in. Yeah. So go ahead, please. Yeah, start. Yeah.
Okay, show us what you're doing.
Happens.
So the applicator goes on, has a bit of a cool gel, almost feels like having a washcloth on you. Okay. Sits onto the skin. This part takes usually between 1 and 2 minutes to get the area prepped, cleaned. Okay. The applicator that Claudia's gonna put on in a few minutes sits onto the skin, pulls it up almost in a slight vacuum with that cool temperature from each side to start to melt that fat away with that cool energy.
And you're saying, so, but that's interesting because you're saying it's melting it, but it's using cool temperature.
Exactly. And the way I describe melting is, imagine a fatty cell at the end of a prime rib. It has a very viscous consistency to it. Yes. The cells explode, and more or less your body melts it away with a little oily texture. That's why I tell my patients for about a week or 2 after to gently massage the area to help break out any residual fat cells in the membranes.
And is it immediate? Like as soon as this is done, can you, or does it take a little while?
Anything, they feel a bit swollen for that first day or two. Okay. Right. A sensation, it looks swollen, but within 2 weeks you see 50% improvement. Got it. And 2 months for the 100%.
So you don't do this if you got a party the next day and you just bought that really tight dress thinking that this is going to make you look excellent in it.
Exactly. Right. Have a healthy breakfast that day instead.
And then wait a couple of weeks for the fat cells start to move out.
Definitely.
I see. Okay. So let's get, what are we going to lay on it? Let's see this
working here.
That looks like a giant hair dryer.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So you can sort of treat one zone at a time or multiple zones depending on if you're having one zone treated.
Let's talk about the zones and let's talk about cost while we talk about zones.
The cost looking at $750
for an area.
For an area.
What's an area?
One area would be abdomen. Both love handles would be in one other area.
I'm just adding that up in my brain because I'm going in next week.
Now, also, while we're doing this here, can we talk about the risk? Please go ahead with the treatment.
Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
In terms of risks, number one is having realistic results. Okay. I tell patients, I'm a physician, my job is to make sure who's a candidate, who's not a candidate, and you have a realistic idea in your mind of the results you're going to get. And the main issue is numbness afterwards. I tell patients they will have a pins and needles sensation for up to 2 weeks. I don't call it a complication, it's more a normal sequelae of the treatment.
Yeah. Right.
And now, does this fat come back? Can it come back?
If you stay the same weight, it will not come back. If you start gaining weight, all bets are off.
All bets are off?
Yeah. I was going to say, so it's not, you're not,
no.
This is not a diet plan.
No, this is not like diet, exercise, and all those normal, healthy things.
This really is fine-tuning the work that you've already done.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so, Jennifer, what are you feeling right now, hon?
A little bit of suction and cool.
Suction and cooling, just like Dr. Kretchen said. Okay.
So you literally could do you could get on your phone right now and you could talk to people and you wouldn't have any problem at all. Yeah.
Totally, very tolerable.
Could you have a little nap, like if you were having a little rest? Could
it's very comfortable.
So completely pain-free.
And this is for people, like, is this for everybody or is it maybe people that shouldn't do it?
You're looking at people who are otherwise healthy, who have good skin tones, they don't have a lot of stretch marks, loose hanging skin, and again, someone who has a realistic result, they're in that 5 to 10 pound ideal range, and they just want to fine-tune that last few centimeters just to sort of suck them in.
So how long again does this take? Just exactly this? This is
45
all that happens?
minutes.
45 minutes. Well, I'll tell you, I'm very thankful you're here to talk us through all of this. Very exciting stuff. All the new things that are on the market for you guys now, it's just incredible. It really is incredible. I think you're gorgeous, but you're obviously going to be even more gorgeous after. Thanks so much for coming in to see us. I thought you were here for 45 minutes longer, but we're going to take a break, guys. We'll be right with you after the break, okay? We'll be right with you. We'll be right with you after the break. This is interesting. Doesn't hurt at all.